Hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames. My name is Eplash and today we are going to talk about the Bastion Strikeforce Battleforce for the Imperial Fist. We are going to talk about upgrades, points, savings and so on. If you enjoy the content, consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing, as well as checking the links down in the description below if you want to support what I do. As always, all the relevant links are going to be down in the pinned comment, but we know all the basic information. The boxes are going to cost £130 or local equivalent. They're going to go on pre-order on the 3rd of December and they are going to release properly on the 10th of December. And it is all you need to know basically. I'm also going to do a complete roundup video tomorrow, and I'm going to post all of the relevant information in a quick and concise post or thread over on Twitter. So if you want to follow me there, feel free. And with that, let's talk a little bit about the Bastion Strikeforce. The first thing I want to do is talk a little bit about the box design, which is clearly different from all the other Battle Forces except for the Raven Guard one. I made the Raven Guard review and uploaded it yesterday, but I didn't quite talk enough about the box. So the box design is completely new and it resembles somewhat what an army box would look like, with a codex and data cards and a small army. These ones though just contain the Battle Force. There are no box in there, and yeah, you just get the models, and I think that is it. Together with upgrades, sprues, and some transfers, of course. But the artwork on them is completely new, and that to me indicates that the Imperial Fists and the Raven Guard and so on are going to get either a new book, or the Space Marines as a whole are going to get refreshed either for 10th edition or before that. It depends. So when I'm talking about rules here in this video, I am talking about just what I consider cool and what is kind of effective for Imperial Fists, and not something that is really competitive or that is going to kind of change the game for you. It is just that Imperial Fists and Raven Guard are not that strong right now, and Space Marines in general are struggling if you are not specifically playing Blood Angels. So yeah, just take all of the kind of rules discussion and the upgrades and so on with a grain of salt. I would generally just suggest to buy whatever you find cool, and if you like this box and if you play Imperial Fists or any other Space Marine chapter, you will find plenty of stuff to upgrade with. Now how about we talk about what's in the box next? First up, we are going to talk about the HQ choice, and it is Tor Garadon himself. The only kind of Imperial Fist Primaris choice GW could have gone with, so it is kind of expected that he's in the box. For the Imperial Fists, I think it's a fine model. Not the most competitive choice, but certainly a fun model to pilot. Definitely not a bad model at all. A strength 12 fist, I think, with damage 4 against vehicles and buildings or kind of terrain. Yeah, all around fun model to use. But the real benefit of Tor Garadon is that he's probably the most sold named character kit out there. All you have to do to kit bash this guy, or to change him up to turn him into any kind of chapter master or Captain Gravis armor, whatever you want, is to remove that shield plate he has on his chest and one of the shoulder pads. After that, there is no Imperial Fist iconography on him whatsoever, and thus kit bashing him is the easiest thing to do. So if you wanted to go that route, and if you're not interested in Imperial Fist, Tor Garadon is certainly not going to stop you. He's probably even going to be a cool asset and a cool chapter master model. And next up, we are going to talk about the troops choice of the box, and boy do we have a lot of troops. We have 3 entire kits of Heavy Intercessors. Heavy Intercessors are insanely expensive when bought separately, especially if you buy from GW directly, and thus having them discounted here is a real benefit. They are not in any kind of combat patrol box, and they are also not discounted in any other box. The only box I've seen them ever in was the Shieldbreaker Battle Force from last year. So 3 entire squads, they fit the Imperial Fist theme. They have bolters, they have Hellstone bolters in specific, which kind of fit the current rules. And yeah, the only thing that all of this is causing is lack of variety within this box. And the points are also suffering because, as I said, Heavy Intercessors are very expensive when it comes to pound or dollar per point. And thus the points in this box are outrageously low. But we are going to talk about that in a little bit. All in all, I think Heavy Intercessors are fun models. They are not the strongest. They suffer extremely in close combat, and they are a little bit overpriced in my opinion. But all in all, definitely usable and definitely fun units to tinker around with, especially when it comes to their loadouts and so on. And lastly, to add a little bit of true variety and spice, we have one elite unit, and it is the aggressors. It is a basic aggressor squad. You're probably going to equip them with Boltstorm gauntlets if you're going Imperial Fists, or just Flamestorm gauntlets, whatever chapter you're going to go with. If you're going to go with Salamanders, for example, it's definitely going to be Flamestorm gauntlets. But yeah, aggressors have been around ever since the inception of Primaris Marines, and I don't think I have to introduce them too much. They're an okay unit currently. They are not overpriced. I think they're super middle of the road, and they are just in here to add just a tiny bit of variety to our fully Gravis army. So all in all, just to kind of summarize everything, this army is completely Gravis armored. There are no other units in here. All of the intercessors in here are heavy intercessors. And yeah, if you wanted to expand upon that kind of archetype and go for an all Gravis army and not buy anything, just regular Mark X armored, just a light armor or Phobos armor, you can definitely just go with this box and then upgrade with eradicators and so on. But we are going to talk about upgrades in a little bit. But before that, we are going to talk about the price for a second. The table on the top is just with 1 upgrade sprue, and the table on the bottom is with 2 upgrade sprues. The Warhammer community article was not really conclusive when it comes to the number of upgrade kits, because it said there are 2 sprues in there, but you never know if they meant 2 upgrade kits or the 2 sprues in 1 upgrade kit, so I just included 2 of them. I think the table you should pay attention to is the top one, and yeah, if it turns out that there are 2 full Imperial Fist upgrade sets in the box, you are then probably going to consider if this box is worth it for you if you don't want to go Imperial Fist, but I highly doubt that. 1 upgrade kit, unused, or just, you know, using the helmets and so on is fine. You're not losing too much money. The box is definitely still worth it. As you can see, you're saving between 29 and 35%. And yeah, even if you deduct the Imperial Fist upgrade set, you're still saving about £50 or local equivalent, which is fine. Next up, we are going to talk about points, and the points are the biggest downside of this box. As I said, heavy intercessors are expensive, and thus the points are 720, and everything in this particular box is maxed out. So this is the maximum you're going to get for your money. You're going to spend £130, maybe minus 20% off, depending on your third-party retailer. You're going to get a little bit more than what a Combat Patrol would give you. And yeah, you need to know whether you really want to use heavy intercessors or not. If you like the Gravis aesthetic, this box is definitely for you and worth it. But otherwise, if you're not sure if you like heavy intercessors, if you're not sure if you're going to do anything with the Aggressor Squad or Torgarodon, I would really consider this box twice and probably buy my stuff separately at that point. Now, the list you see now is a basic 500 points list I created with the contents of this specific box, just to demonstrate that you can play Combat Patrol games with this box. It is just not very kind of interactive. You don't have a lot of unit variety. As you can see, you have 2 squads of heavy intercessors. You could rotate in some aggressors, but then you are quickly going to run out of points and it is going to be awkward. So yeah, it is possible to play Combat Patrol games with this box, but it's a little bit bland. Now, when it comes to upgrades, the easiest recommendation, as always, is just to go with another value box, like for example, the Dark Angels Combat Patrol box. This one gives you a lot of bold options. You get another HQ choice with the Primaris Chaplain. You get regular intercessors. This kind of breaks with the Gravis theme, so you have to know whether you want that or not. If you want to stick with the Gravis team, there's obviously no Combat Patrol box available for you, and you will need to buy things separately. Now, when it comes to buying this box twice, you need to consider a couple of things. First, you're not sitting on a lot of points, and you will be sitting on Torgarodon twice. As I said, he's very easy to kit bash, so you could make use out of him. The problem here is that I'm not sure what you do with 2 Gravis captains or so on. There are no Gravis lieutenants currently, so you'd need to figure something out for the second model. If there's nothing in particular you can figure out for the second Torgarodon, I would not advise to pick up this box twice, simply because the points you're getting is and you're going to sit on 6 entire heavy intercessor squads, which is definitely overkill. You are going to sit on 6 maxed out heavy intercessor squads, so you'll never ever need to buy more. But yeah, it super depends on if you want to really lean into Gravis or not. I would recommend against it personally, and just buy this box, paint it up, assemble it, and then buy your stuff separately. If you want to go with more heavy intercessors, I'm fairly certain that this box is not going to sell out immediately. I'm actually fairly certain that this box is going to be around in a few months from now, and that you'll be able to pick that up, but that is purely speculative on my part. So yeah, my recommendation here would be to pick this box up, paint it, and then upgrade with other units instead of buying this box twice. Although, as I said, it is not the most terrible idea, but yeah. Other recommendations, just when it comes to other Gravis units, would be the 2 generic Gravis captains. You can go with them if you wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit, or use some bits from them, especially from the Captain Gravis armor with the close combat weapons. There are some cool close combat weapons you could use for a second Torgarodon conversion, or for your regular Torgarodon conversion if you're not going to play Imperial Fists. And the regular other Captain Gravis armor is really good when it comes to his rules. He has a great ranged weapon, he is decent in melee with a power sword, and he's just your basic all-rounder, and thus I recommend him as well. Another unit you are most likely going to make use of, no matter if you are going to play Imperial Fists or any other chapter with the Gravis theme, are Eradicators. You can never go wrong with them. You are probably going to go with 1 or 2 squads, and thus that recommendation is a no-brainer as well. Now, when it comes to the ratings and conclusion part of the video, this box is very difficult to evaluate. It offers not a lot of points, actually the lowest points out of any Battleforce for Warhammer 40,000 by quite a lot. And the savings are decent if you make use of the upgrade sprue, but they plummet to very bad if you don't make use of the upgrade sprue. And yeah, you need to have a really well laid out plan for this specific box if you're going to pick it up, especially if you're not going to use it for Imperial Fists. If you are planning to use it for Imperial Fists, and if you are planning to use an Imperial Fists army or to set one up, this box is definitely fine to be picked up once. If you want to pick it up twice, you need to then plan out and really consider if you need 30 heavy intercessors or not at that point. But all in all, I would give this box a 4 out of 10. I think it is below average in every aspect except for savings, and thus I feel confident to give it that kind of score. I don't think it is bad by any means, but it is certainly lacking aspects that other battle forces, especially the good ones like the Custodes one or the Imperial Knight one, are offering you instead. So yeah, I also think, as I said previously, that this box is going to be around for months. I don't think it is going to sell out. It depends obviously on how many GW printed, but if it's anywhere similar to the Age of Sigmar boxes, this box is probably going to be there a year from now. So yeah, take that kind of with a grain of salt. It is a prediction obviously, but yeah. One thing I wanted to quickly clarify, because I talked about it in this video and in the last video, when it comes to the upgrade sprues, I find them annoying, and just to clarify my opinion on that, I think £16 for an upgrade kit takes away a lot of possibilities when it comes to making a box more enticing and cooler, especially in this case. So if you would remove those £16 of upgrade kit and instead add, say, an apothecary, which costs £24, so it's definitely in the realm of possibility, this box would be insanely more interesting for a lot of players. It would add more value to the box, it would add more points, it would be better all around. That is just my kind of view on the things, and yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Other than that, yeah, specific non-generic Space Marine boxes are also a little bit annoying, but I'm happy that Imperial Fists and Raven Guard, two lesser played chapters I would say, are getting some attention. And I'm actually fairly certain that we are going to see similar boxes for the Iron Hands and the White Scars next year. That is very specific obviously from my part, but the White Scars and the Iron Hands are the next two in line when it comes to popularity, but backwards. They're not very popular. And yeah, we are going to have to see what happens. Other than that, I obviously expect a lot of Xenos boxes, but that is a topic for another video. If you have anything to add to the box, if you're an Imperial Fist player yourself, I would be happy to have you add to the conversation in the comments. Tell us a little bit about what you think would be useful to be added to this box. Would you recommend the box in the first place? Are you a new player and are you considering this box? All of those things interest me personally, and we can discuss things there. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.